fall ill? Really a big question this is. No one wants to fall ill, but one suffers from various diseases whole the year round. Have you ever tried to know the reason behind this? In this video, we will try to find the reasons for this. Wishing you all a very happy and healthy 2021. Let's begin this topic. This topic will be covered in two videos and this is the first part. Health. The first question which comes in mind is, what do you mean by health? Health is a state of proper functioning of body and mind. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and it is not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So, students, first of all, you have to understand the meaning of health in totality. It relates to proper functioning of the body as well as mind, and you have to remain in sync with the physical conditions as well as mental conditions as well as the social conditions which are prevailing around you. So if you have a good mental state, good physical state, as well as your behavior is socially acceptable, then you will surely will have a good health, isn't it? So health is a very bigger term and it refers to all the three states, that is physical, mental and social well-being. Now, significance of health. If we have good health, it increases our working efficiency. It helps us to cope up with the social, mental pressure without much difficulty. A healthy person can enjoy the life to the fullest. So students, if we are healthy, we can work better than the others. Our efficiency will naturally increase as well as we will be able to cope up in all the given conditions. We will be able to handle all types of pressures, and a healthy person can only behave well, enjoy the life to the fullest. Now, basic conditions for good health. How one can have good health? One can have good health only if there are certain conditions or prerequisites present. First one is balanced diet. Second, personal hygiene. Third, your surroundings should be clean. Fourth, you should eat clean food and drink clean water. You should have clean air to breathe. Exercise and relaxation also plays important role in having good health. You should be free from addictions, and good economic conditions really ensure that we are able to get all these things. And last but not the least, social equality and harmony. You should have a good relationship with all the members of your society, and you should behave according to the social ethics and should behave very nicely with your neighbors, friends and other colleagues. This will lead to basic these are the conditions needed for good health. This will ensure that you will possess a good health. Now, personal health and community health. Personal health refers to the overall well-being of an individual, whereas community health refers to the maintenance, protection, and improvement of the overall well-being of the whole community. As the word suggests, personal health meaning your own health, and community health means health of the whole community which is around you, meaning thereby health of the people at large, and these are interconnected. If you are healthy, your neighbors are healthy. If the environmental conditions are good, you are breathing fresh air, pollution is less, you are having good food, economic condition is well, and people behave in a responsible manner, proper disposal of waste as well as drainage etc. is good, then community will also have good health. So personal health and community health are interrelated. Now let us discuss disease. What do you mean by disease? This is the question which comes in mind. How can we define disease? So we can define disease as any condition that disturbs or modifies the normal functioning of the living organisms. But then one question comes in mind. Does being healthy and disease free mean the same? As we have already discussed, students, that health is a broader term. It not only refers to physical well-being but also mental and social well-being. So you can easily tell the difference between healthy and disease-free. So now let's discuss the differences between the distinction between healthy and disease-free. Healthy. It is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being. It depends upon the individual as well as on the physical and social environment. A healthy person will be disease free. A healthy person is energetic and able to perform all his tasks well. Now let us discuss about disease free condition. It is a state of absence of discomfort or dearrangement of body parts and their functions. It is related to individual only. A disease-free person can be healthy or unhealthy. Performance of a disease-free person depends upon environment and personal attitude. So students, I think it is clear to you. Disease-free means absence of disease, whereas healthy means you are physically, mentally and socially, you are well, you are behaving nicely. So a healthy person must be disease free, but a disease free person need not to be healthy. If its mental condition or social behavior is not well, then a disease free person cannot be judged as healthy. Only being disease free will not work. You should behave nicely, you should have a mental horizon which is wider than the others, and your social behavior should also be acceptable. So being healthy means physically, mentally and socially you are well. Now when we have understood the meaning of disease, now let us discuss the meaning of signs and symptoms. A symptom is a change in normal functioning of the body which is felt by a patient. A sign of a disease is a change in the bodily function or structure that can be observed. So students, for example, let us take an example of a symptom. For example, if you are suffering or feeling stomach ache, sore throat, nausea, etc. So this is symptom. A patient has to tell the doctor about this. Okay. What is then what is sign? A sign of a disease is a change in the bodily function or structure that can be observed. Signs of a disease are what physicians will look for on the basis of the symptoms. Signs give a little more definite indication of the presence of a particular disease. For example, rashes, swelling of glands, change in color of the skin, etc. Lab tests are done to confirm the signs of a disease. Signs and symptoms help in diagnosis or identification of a disease. So students, I think now the difference and meaning of signs and symptoms is clear to you. Symptoms mean anything which you feel, a patient feels. If it is he or she is feeling headache or fever or nausea, that is symptom, whereas sign gives a definite idea of the disease from which a person is suffering, as it is confirmed with the help of pathological tests. Certain tests are performed which give us a view about the disease, and this helps us in diagnosis of the disease. So signs are confirmed with the help of pathological tests. Okay. Now let us discuss about acute and chronic disease. Acute diseases are the diseases which last for only very short duration. Example, common cold, cough, etc. And chronic diseases, the diseases which last for a long time, even as much as a lifetime. They cause drastic long-term effects on human health. For example, cancer, tuberculosis, etc. So what is the basic difference between acute and chronic diseases? The basic difference is of duration. If the disease is of very short duration and its effects are also very less and it lasts only for few days, then the disease is termed as acute, whereas chronic diseases last for a long time, even as much as for a lifetime, and they cause very drastic long-term effects on human health. So main difference is about main difference between these two diseases is concerned with the duration as well as the effect which it casts on our health. Now, causes of disease. So, students, whenever we fall ill, we start thinking, why did we become ill? What is the cause of my disease? So, let us discuss about the causes of disease. First is immediate cause, and second is contributory causes. Immediate causes, these are real or primary causes, also called first level of cause. Various microorganisms like bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoans, etc. are included in this category. Second is contributory cause. Contributory causes, these are also called intrinsic or internal factor. They do not lead to a disease themselves. Poor health due to inadequate diet, genetic disorders, lack of public services, or poor economic conditions come under contributory causes. So, students, the main cause, the primary cause, are known as immediate causes, are concerned with the microorganisms or pathogens which cause a disease. And in this category, you have already studied about microorganisms in lower classes also. So disease causing microorganisms are known as pathogens. And what are the organisms which are pathogens? They may be either virus or fungi or protozoans, etc., and bacteria, etc. And these enter in our body, cause infection, and we suffer from the related disease. Whereas contributory causes are internal causes. They do not lead to a disease themselves, but they are responsible for the spread and existence of disease in our body. And it is, for example, if we don't get proper nutrition or balanced diet, then we are more susceptible to disease. We will get disease easier than the others. Second, genetic disorders, which we may have inherited from our parents. Third is lack of public services or poor economic conditions. If our economic conditions is not good, then we will not be able to avail the facility of balanced diet or clean water or proper habitat, proper home, well ventilated houses. All these things are related to our economic conditions also. So there can be certain contributory causes also. So I think students, now you understood the causes of diseases. So now let us move ahead. Then now let us discuss about the types of disease, infectious and non-infectious diseases. First is infectious diseases. Diseases where microbes are the immediate cause are called as infectious diseases. And the disease causing organisms are called infectious agents or pathogens. And they include bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoan parasites, and worms. So, students, we have to remember the name of the pathogens as well as the diseases they cause. And you have to make a list of certain diseases caused by bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoan parasites, and worms. And you have to remember that for examination purpose also. So now let us discuss some example of infectious diseases. Some common infectious diseases are cholera, influenza, pneumonia, AIDS, malaria, etc. And now, students, one more thing which I want to make you understand is that the entry and multiplication of a disease causing organism in the body is called infection. So first, before understanding infectious disease, you have to understand what is infection. What is infection? Infection is the entry and multiplication of a disease causing organism or pathogen in our body. These organisms can enter the body in different ways, such as with food, with water, air, etc. And then they live and multiply in the body of the infected individual. The organism in which an infectious agent lives and multiplies is called its host. And common diseases, you are well aware, cholera, influenza, pneumonia, AIDS, malaria, etc. Now let us discuss about non-infectious diseases. Non-infectious diseases, a disease that is not caused by an infectious agent is called a non-infectious disease. These diseases may be due to certain internal or other causes. Example, diabetes, cancer, anemia, arthritis, etc. Now, one more common term which you may have heard many times is communicable disease. Then the question comes in mind, what do you mean by communicable diseases? An infectious disease that can be spread from one infected individual to another is called communicable disease. It can spread through food, water, air, direct contact, or through a disease carrier or vector. Most infectious diseases are communicable. Students, you have to keep this in mind. I am not saying all infectious diseases are communicable, but I am telling most infectious diseases are communicable because all infectious diseases are not communicable. Example, tetanus is an infectious disease. Why it is infectious disease? Because it is caused by a bacterium. Okay. So any disease which is caused by microorganism is known as infectious disease. So we can keep tetanus in an infectious disease because it is caused by a bacterium. But students, that disease is not communicable. This bacterium enters the body only when a wound comes in contact with the contaminated soil or animal waste. But tetanus cannot be spread from person to person, so it is not a communicable disease. So we can say that generally or mostly the infectious diseases are communicable, but there can be exceptions also. And an example of one such exception is tetanus. Now let us discuss about antibiotics. Antibiotics, these are the chemical substances produced mainly by microorganisms, bacteria and fungi. At low concentration, they have the ability to inhibit the growth of other microorganisms. They commonly block the biochemical pathways important for bacteria. For example, penicillin. Penicillin is a antibiotic and it has been derived from a fungus, Penicillium notatum. Okay, and how does it work? It inhibits the it inhibits or blocks the formation of cell wall in bacteria, and due to penicillin, bacteria becomes unable to make the cell wall and ultimately dies. So it is a very effective antibiotic and it acts on bacteria. And how does it act? By inhibiting or blocking the formation of cell wall. So we have many antibiotics related to bacterial disease. It can help in saving us, it can help in protecting us from bacterial diseases. But what about viral diseases? As you all know, antibiotics do not work against viral infections. Then the reason comes in mind, why so? Because you are well aware, viruses are the boundary line between living and non-living things. They possess certain characters due to which we cannot consider them as living and we cannot consider them as non-living, because as soon as they enter a living organism, they start behaving like living organism, and when they are outside the living organism, they behave as chemicals. So viruses are mysterious. So antibiotics do not work against viral infections because viruses lack cells. Biochemical processes which occur in cells are also missing in viruses. Since these biochemical processes are the targets of antibiotics, antibiotics do not work on viruses, or they are not effective in viral infections. Now let us discuss the infectious agents and some common diseases caused by them. Students, you have to remember, this is often asked, mention the pathogenic agents, mention the disease causing microorganisms, and mention example of bacterial disease, viral disease, fungal disease, or diseases caused by protozoans. So you have to remember this nicely. So let us discuss the diseases caused by bacteria. Common examples are cholera, typhoid, diarrhea, pneumonia, tuberculosis, tetanus, diphtheria, leprosy, plague, etc. Let us discuss some diseases caused by virus. AIDS. You are well aware of this disease. AIDS means acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, rabies, also known as hydrophobia, diarrhea, hepatitis, polio, influenza, measles, smallpox, dengue, yellow fever, encephalitis, herpes, etc. Some diseases caused by fungi are ringworm, skin diseases, food poisoning, etc. In skin diseases, ringworm is very important disease, as well as athlete's foot is a disease caused by fungi, and disease caused by protozoans are malaria, diarrhea, amoebic dysentery, sleeping sickness, kala-azar, giardiasis, etc. So students, in this video, we have discussed various aspects related to why do we fall in. And I hope you understood it very well. So if you find it interesting, you find this topic interesting and the video is really helpful to you, then please like, share and subscribe my channel. We will discuss other aspects of why do we fall ill in our next video. Thank you.